Hello everyone and welcome. I am Dr. Larry Van Such for athleticquickness.com, and I'm here to bring you another running speed challenge to see if we can make you even faster with, get this, just 9 minutes of exercise training time spread out over the next 14 days. That's right, just 9 total minutes of training over the next 14 days. And I'm extremely confident that for anyone trying the exercises that I'm about to present in this video, it's going to work for them. But before I begin, I want to say that if you are new to our channel and haven't seen or taken our first speed challenge, pictured here with over 2.4 million views, then you might want to watch that video first, and I'll post a link to it in the description below. Now, you don't have to watch that video to benefit from this video, but the exercise shown there has already helped a lot of people get faster in just a few days. And since it's probably why you're here, why not take advantage of it? Okay, so let's get right to this running speed challenge. I am going to show you 2 new hip flexor exercises, but unlike the one in our previous challenge, and unlike any that you may have seen or done before, these 2 have a slight twist to them. And the twist I am talking about is really a literal twisting, or turning of the leg externally for one exercise and internally for the other. And this external and internal twisting of your leg will allow you to target all 7 of your hip flexor muscles, and not just the psoas, in completely different planes and angles than you're used to. And this should expose more of their weaknesses, such that when you begin to strengthen them the way I show you in these videos, the expectation is for you to get even faster than you are right now. And that's the challenge I have for you, to see if you can get even faster with just 9 total minutes of training spread out over the next 2 weeks by doing the exercises in this video. So what do you think? Are you up to the challenge? Do you have 9 minutes to give this a try to see if you can perhaps set a personal best with your speed? Of course you do. All right, I'm going to show you the exercises here in just a moment, but before I do, I want to let you know that the training instructions and other helpful tips will be given to you immediately after you see the last exercise, so make sure you look for them. I'll also include a link to our website in the description below, where this video and the instructions will be hosted, and that'll give you a chance to review the material at your own pace if you need to, so I encourage you to check it out. Okay, let's do this. Start by tying a knot in your band to form a loop, and then attach it to a pole similar to what you see here. Next, place your right leg inside the loop, and then step away to stretch the band. You should have something to balance against, such as the wall shown here. Now raise your foot off the ground, extend your leg forward, and then rotate your thigh and foot outward. Hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds, using between 70 to 80% of your maximum strength. You should feel the tension on the inside of your right hip, thigh, and knee. Before going any further, I want to point something out to you about this exercise so that you do it properly, and that is when your right foot and leg are rotated outward, as seen here, it's important that you try to keep your ankle joint in line with your hip joint for best results. This is because if you start to let your foot drift outward, say to about here, or cross over your midline, say to about here, then you will alter the exercise and affect your results. So do your best to keep your ankle joint in line with your hip joint throughout the exercise. In an attempt to keep this video as short as possible, I'm just going to post a still image of the final setup for the left leg seen here, since it's essentially the same as the right. But I will post a link in the description below where you can watch the entire exercise on our website. Now let's take a look at the next exercise. Start by tying a knot in your band to form a loop, and then attach it to a pole similar to what you see here. Next, place your right leg inside the loop, and then step away to stretch the band. You should have something to balance against, such as the wall shown here. Now raise your foot off the ground, extend your leg forward, and then rotate your thigh and foot inward. Hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds, using between 70 to 80% of your maximum strength. You should feel the tension on the outside of your right hip, thigh, and knee. Similar to the previous exercise, I want to point out that when your right thigh and leg are rotated inward, as seen here, it's important that you try to keep your ankle joint in line with your hip joint for best results. This is because if you start to let your foot drift outward, say to about here, or cross over your midline, say to about here, then you will alter the exercise and affect your results. So do your best to keep your ankle joint in line with your hip joint throughout the exercise. Again, to keep this video as short as possible, I'm just going to post a still image of the final setup for the left leg seen here, since it's essentially the same as the right. But be sure to check the description below for a link to the entire exercise on our website. I want to include one more exercise in this speed challenge for you to do, and that is the one from our previous speed challenge video, which you may have seen and tried, except the training schedule for it will be different here. And the reason is that when you combine this exercise with the first two that you just saw, it will provide a nice complete balance for training your hip flexor muscles in many of the different planes and angles that you may put them through while playing sports. And this should benefit you even more. So here it is. Start by tying a knot in your band to form a loop, and then attach it to a pole similar to what you see here. Next, place your right foot inside the loop, and then step forward until you feel the band starting to tighten. You should have something to balance against, such as a chair shown here. Now raise your foot off the ground, and then extend your right leg forward. Hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds, using between 70 to 80% of your maximum strength. You should feel the tension in the front of your right hip and thigh. Again, to keep this video as short as possible, I'm just going to post a still image of the final setup for the left leg seen here, since it's essentially the same as the right. But be sure to check the description below for a link to the entire exercise on our website. Before you even start these exercises, I want you to first time yourself in whatever running event you're looking to improve upon, whether that be the 40-yard dash, the 100 or 200, or maybe something a little longer like the 400, 800, or 1500. So time yourself first before you begin. With regards to the training schedule for these exercises, it's actually very easy. You are simply going to do the 3 exercises that you just saw, 1 time a day with each leg, and you're going to do this 3 days a week for the next 2 weeks. That's it. So let's talk a little bit more about this. On the days that you're going to train, you will start by doing exercise number 1. Just 1 time for the right leg and 1 time for the left. Then you'll do the same for exercise number 2. Again, just 1 time for the right leg and 1 time for the left. And finally, you'll do exactly the same for the 3rd exercise. 1 time for the right leg and 1 time for the left. That's it. That's all you will do for the day. Now, if we put this all in a chart, your daily schedule will look like this. Here is exercise number 1 for both legs, followed by a short rest. Exercise number 2 for both legs, followed by a short rest. And finally, exercise number 3. And you'll see that if you do each exercise for the full 15 seconds with each leg, the most time you'll be training per day is just 90 seconds, or 1.5 minutes. As far as the weekly schedule is concerned, I'd recommend Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but you could choose any 3 days that you like. Just space them out as best as possible. Now, since you'll be on this schedule for 2 weeks, you'll end up putting in 6 days of training, and so your total exercise time during this challenge will be just 9 minutes. Yes, I know that doesn't sound like much, but you'll be surprised how well this works. In fact, I know you will. Finally, when you're finished with your last exercise at the end of the 2nd week, I want you to wait a day or 2 to rest up a bit, and then time yourself again in the same running events you did before you started these exercises. After that, compare your times to see how much faster you got, and then report back to me, either in the comment section below or through email, and let me know how you did because I want to know. When I say using between 70 to 80% of your maximum strength for these exercises, what I mean is that you want to put enough effort into them such that at around the 10-second mark, you are looking to end the exercise because it's getting too difficult for you to maintain a steady position. And if you can go past 15 seconds rather easily, then you simply do not have enough resistance in your setup. And I will show you how to fix this when I talk about the types of bands to use next. When it comes time to choose a type of band to use for these exercises, I want you to use these types of resistance bands here. And not these big, thick, heavy body bands, as these are way too strong and won't work well for these exercises. I'd also recommend that you use the light resistance band like this red one here, or medium resistance bands like this green one here. And if they are too weak to use by themselves, then you can simply combine them together, something like this, to increase your resistance during the exercise. I want to finish up by saying that I encourage you to give these exercises a chance and do not let the simplicity of them fool you, because the results that hundreds of athletes have already gotten with them is absolutely staggering. And the reason I can say this with confidence is because these 3 exercises that you just saw are actually a small part of our popular Run Faster program seen here. And if you're familiar with our website, then you've obviously seen the hundreds of testimonials we have received from athletes, perhaps just like yourself, who have already tried this program and became much faster. So by doing these 3 exercises, you are essentially getting a sneak peek into that program with the opportunity to try a little of it before buying it to see if it works for you. And if it does, like I know it will, I hope that you'll consider getting the full program really soon, because who doesn't want more speed, right? And it's offered at a fair price with a 60-day money-back guarantee, so that's a pretty good deal. Okay, those are your instructions. Good luck to you, and please report back to me either in the comment section below or by email, and I'll be sure to respond. For athleticfitness.com, I'm Dr. Larry Van Such.